Hello, everybody. Welcome to 3 at 9. Stephanie Simone here, and we're going to get straight to it tonight. Tonight, we have been watching, of course, all of the fallout after ICE agents shot and killed a woman in Minneapolis. Of course, there's been a lot of debate as to whether or not she drove at the agents, and we are letting that play out. However, since that shooting happened, there have been vigils and protests, and there was one last night in Hartford, and that's where Amanda Callahan was, and she was there and she saw the peaceful side of the protest, but in a different area, things took a turn. And so we're going to let Amanda Callahan explain what happened last night at Hartford at these protests. This was, of course, all in light of the shooting that happened in Minneapolis. So let's take a listen tonight to Amanda Callahan's story. I'm going to get to it now.
To honor a woman who unfortunately gave her life trying to protect communities from all the chaos that is going on. And me and people like me were greeted with the kind of chaos that cost her her life.
Caitlin Gelfand was one of the more than 200 protesters who gathered in downtown Hartford for a candlelight vigil to honor Renee Good. But around the corner from that peaceful protest, a much more violent scene played out. Gelfand took this video showing a man in all black wearing a mask using pepper spray on the protesters.
But I could smell it right away. And there were federal agents spraying through, two that I saw separately spraying.
Hartford Mayor Arunan Auralumpalam believes that man is a federal employee, as well as the people seen driving these two vehicles out of a parking garage on Sheldon Street. This video shows a group of protesters trying to block a car and a white van pulling out. What you don't see in the video is a man who was allegedly knocked to the ground by the van as the drivers worked their way through the crowd. A protester then throws an object at the van, shattering a back window. The mayor says Hartford police are investigating 3 separate crimes: a hit and run, unlawful use of pepper spray, and destruction of property for the person who shattered the window.
There will be due process in the city of Hartford that's not afforded to so many through the immigration enforcement system. There will be rule of law in the city of Hartford that's not afforded to so many through the immigration enforcement system.
Immigration attorney Rafael Pichardo attended the protest and works across the street from the courthouse. He says he's concerned about what happened.
You try to follow the rules regarding protests because it's important that this doesn't turn into something where there are constant physical battles with government agents. You're not going to win that.
While the mayor can't confirm the people involved are ICE agents, he wants residents to know Hartford is a sanctuary city open to all.
We cannot give in to that violence, that lawlessness, because it's not who we are as a city. We must rise above.
And that was Amanda Callahan reporting. Of course, we will have much more that comes out of the fallout from this very big story that's happening in Minneapolis. And so we will be following every single detail and get you those as soon as we get them and bring them to you here on air and online. Also, turning to Troconis, Michelle Troconis, she was in court today. Just let me fix this mic. Okay, it's better. All right, here we go. Turning to Michelle Troconis now. She was in court today for her second full day this week, and she is trying to get out of prison. Of course, she has been convicted of conspiring to kill Jennifer Farber-Dulos. That was in May of 2019. And so she has been in court, or rather she has been in prison for more than a year and a half. And so now she has spent the week in court trying to get her freedom, saying that she had a bad trial. And a lot of the finger pointing has been at her attorney. So I'm going to let Dylan Furin explain what happened in court today regarding this new development in the Michelle Troconis case.
Correct. This hearing is all centered around Michelle Troconis' former attorney, Andrew Bowman, and his initial legal advice to her when police started investigating Jennifer's disappearance. Bowman recommended Troconis speak to police. She did 3 times, but those 3 interviews were put under a microscope at trial and used against Troconis. She believes Bowman's recommendation and ineffectiveness were a huge factor in her being convicted. Bowman isn't having it. Testifying today, he only gave Troconis that recommendation, assuming she would tell the truth. But in her criminal trial, we learned she lied in her police interviews.
You got to tell the truth.
And she did not do so
in this case, right?
No, she did not.
And she assured you that she would be truthful, right?
Yeah, she presented information to me as the truth.
Troconis claimed she didn't know where her boyfriend and Jennifer's estranged husband, Fotis Doulos, was the day Jennifer disappeared.
And we know unequivocally that was not so.
That's correct.
Prosecutors say Fotis Doulos killed Jennifer in 2019. Her body has never been found. Fotis Doulos committed suicide in 2020. Troconis' expert witness, Michael Fitzpatrick, also testified today. He's been a criminal defense attorney for decades, testifying that Bowman's recommendation to speak to police was incompetent.
The recommendation to submit to those interviews without any protection in place was not reasonably competent or within the standard of care.
But we also heard from former Chief State's Attorney Richard Colangelo, who worked on cases against Bowman and has known him for years.
It's fair to say that you had a great deal of respect for him in your dealings with him?
Yes.
And you found him to be above board and honest?
Yes.
All right, that was Dylan Fearon reporting. And of course, as more comes out from the Troconis trial, we will bring it to you as soon as we get it. Now to the fallout over the large water main break in Waterbury. You might remember last month, neighbors there went several days without water, and some restaurants decided to stay open during that time. And there was a new development tonight because apparently there were a list of restaurants that were cited for violating the orders by staying open and serving customers. So Owen Kingsley, he exclusively obtained this list, and he goes over it with you in this story right here that we're going to take for you.
We didn't experience anything. We didn't lose any water, no pressure, so I didn't find out until the health department came over and asked us to shut down.
Thomas Gould owns Brass City Bistro on Hamilton Avenue. Weeks after receiving a citation from the city's health department, he's still scratching his head. The restaurant was one of the 34 cited, but Gould says he shut things down the same day the health department visited. So quickly, he says he even had to interrupt some customers' meals.
We had parties, we had the dining room booked out, the bar was full, the whole restaurant was full, and he says, Mr. Gould, you're gonna have to shut down. So now I have to go and tell all the people that are here that we can't serve them. So it was a very odd situation. It was very hard to tell the people, you got them halfway fed and you can't finish up.
Health Director Aishley McGuckin read the rules.
The FDA food code dictates that the presence of any possible contaminant requires them to close.
But those rules proved to be a source of confusion for the approximately 800 food establishments in Waterbury. But according to FDA rules, that interruption to the city's water supply from the main break meant the water wasn't safe to cook or clean with, much less drink in a restaurant.
The quality of the water is not assured, and per the FDA food code, you have to close.
While most complied, not everyone followed the rules. The city's health department says they saw examples of workarounds, like exclusively using bottled water, boiling water, or replacing hand washing with hand sanitizer. But they say those efforts weren't up to snuff and still posed health risks. Other restaurants cited include McDonald's, Wendy's, and Jersey Mike's Subs on Wolcott Street, as well as Hong Kong Chinese restaurant and La Cazuela Mexican restaurant on East Main Street. None of them were fined, but the city says these restaurants are now on their radar.
There may be other aspects of food preparation that they don't understand, they need education for. So in that, I don't think it's necessarily a slap on the wrist, because they will be getting additional attention as we go through the year at their regularly scheduled visits. And I don't think anybody invites extra attention.
What are the things that you yourself learned through this process?
We learned that we should have been telling people not to go out to eat.
And that was Owen Kingsley reporting from Waterbury. Now, our bright spot, our good news of the day, takes us to a vet. And this was incredible. Here, let's take a video here of this kitten that was reunited with its family. This is so sweet. A missing kitten reunited with its family. And you won't believe where it was found here. This was at the Salmon Brook Vet Clinic. They just noticed a cat hanging around the barn near the house. The employee was able to get the cat into a carrier, brought it to the vet, and they scanned the microchip, and it turns out this kitten was already a patient at the clinic. Her name is Nola, and she had been reported missing back in September. Oh, look how sweet she is. That face. Now, staff, they were able to reunite the kitten because of the microchip with a very excited family, and they are using this story to stress the importance of microchipping your pets because you never know what could happen. So it's always good to get your pets microchipped. And that is your good news of the evening. I hope you enjoyed 3 at 9. I know that we had basketball on the Wax, the game of the week earlier. That was an exciting game, especially with the team at Notre Dame. So very exciting. It's nice to have that local sports on. And we will have the return of Friday Night Football tonight on FNF on Channel 3 at 11. So that's exciting too. So I hope all of you are having a great Friday night. Have a great weekend. Mike Slifer will get on here in about 20 minutes, 9:30, to give you the latest in weather. He always comes on at 9:30 and gives you the latest on what's happening with the forecast. I can tell you so far that it is looking to be kind of a wet weekend. I mean, it's raining now in parts of the state, and it's going to rain again tomorrow, but not the whole day. It's not a complete washout, so I'll let him explain it. I'm not the meteorologist. But for now, have a great night, everyone, and we'll see you at 10 and 11. Oh, we'll leave you with this beautiful kitten. So sweet.